Oh God, I'm so depressed.
Broadcasting from the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command. Fascinating.
God damn you all to hell!
This is the Sci-Fi Podcast. This is episode 42, which of course is the answer to life, the universe and everything. The Solo on Sci-Fi Podcast, Mike and Martin with another show, bringing you discussion in science fiction, comedy, and basically just having a bit of a laugh. Hello Martin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm bouncing about, yeah.
Bouncing about. That's good. Well, that's good. We're all fine. I mean, we're all sort of just dealing with things as they're going along now. Apparently now in the UK you can only have congregations of only 6 people maximum now, unless you're at work or at school, where you can have hundreds of bloody people running around, which seems a bit bizarre. But we're all sort of just sort of dealing with things as they are. What's been happening with you this week in the land of Mr. Martin Fowler? Anything exciting to report your end?
I got my neutrino wand.
I saw that. It looked very good.
Do you want me to turn it on?
Yeah, go on. What?
Hang on, give me a second.
That's what she said, yeah. Go for it. And we wait. Ghostbusters is playing in the background, by the way, just to keep us going while we're waiting for Martin.
I'm back.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
It's the ultimate man toy.
Okay.
Listen to this. Just listen to this. Now get this. And when you turn it off.
Oh.
It vibrates in your hand, it makes phone noises, it extends because it sounds like a sex toy.
I know, this is what I'm saying. Do you know what? One of your things last week, you put on your... you were going on about the revolver, and you were saying how it's difficult cocking it, and it gets stiff and stuff, and I was laughing. It was hilarious. Now, I added some reverb onto your sound effects for that thing, because obviously it's not sound effects, but it's, adds a bit of a dimension. I saw this guy Al Smith, who is a guy on YouTube I follow, and he's a huge Ghostbusters fan, and I'm trying to get him involved with the show. Just to let you know, before we go on to this subject, we are getting some guests coming on soon. We've had a possibility of 3 guests coming up soon. So let you know what's happening, but then we'll talk about the Ghostbusters thing. We're going to have Gary, who aka Trekker Prize, is coming on hopefully next week. There's an author I've come across who said he might be interested in coming on and talking about Star Trek and other things, which would be great. And you've also mentioned one of your friends on YouTube who might come on at some point.
Chelsea, she wants to come on and talk about Star Trek. Yeah.
Brilliant. So we've got some plenty.
She's from America. She wants to do the UK American perspective on it, which she.
Well, if we do, then I'm going to have to wind her up and do plenty of Cockney rhyming slang and stuff to really sort of mess her head. So, what, darling? Oh, I'm going down the old apples and pears. Oh, I feel a bit Ramsless last night. A bit sort of like Tom Dick. How are you doing, love? Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to your Ghostbusters. So, from what I have seen, this was supposed to go with the new film, which of course has been delayed. So it's been released early. So this hasn't featured on the classic Ghostbusters films, has it?
No,
this neutrino
that's
thing.
The neutrino wand from the new film.
That's what I'm saying. So we've not seen it yet.
All the collectibles have been released because, the film should have been and gone. So all the collectibles,
they've sort of released them.
Just released them, which I only wanted the new because you get a stand with it and it looks great. And it's just amazing.
So are you really pleased? I mean, the only thing that looked a bit flimsy was this actual stand that you just mentioned. The actual product looked good. The stand looks a bit sort of like flimsy, but the actual product itself,
it
looked like it was very good quality. And of course,
I watched quite a few reviews on it. Everybody, even the hardcore Ghostbusters cosplayers, are very happy with it.
Yeah.
There was a Mattel one a few years ago. I missed out on that. Came out, and I didn't even know it had been out, but everybody bought up, and they're going for stupid money on the internet now.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're saying that's like equal to it, so I'm quite happy. I did pay for it 3 months ago, and it did come, took 3 weeks to get it.
Yeah.
So it came 3 weeks later. I was very annoyed with Hasbro, actually, because I paid up front for it.
So was it?
Out. I knew it'd sell out everywhere. I knew.
But did it come later than you originally thought it was going to come?
Yeah, 3 weeks later.
Oh,
yeah,
so when you said 3 weeks ago, you mean you thought it was going to come very soon after that?
I paid for it in March.
Oh, blimey. God.
No, April, sorry.
Yeah, but you can't blame them after all the chaos this year. I mean, you're lucky to get it.
I wanted it on that day, and it came 3 weeks later. I'm so annoyed about it.
Yeah. So do you write to complain, or are you going to just sort of... No, you got
I
it
didn't
now.
write to complain. I contacted my local MP. I wrote to Boris Johnson. I wrote to the United Nations. I wrote to the European Union.
Did you write to Donald Trump?
The Galactic Federation of Planets, the United Federation, and I wrote a letter to the Emperor of the Empire.
And Portsmouth City Council, of course, as well. You've got to write to them as well.
Portsmouth City Council. Oh, God.
You wouldn't get very far with them. So anyway, I'm sorry about your delays, but it sounds like it was worth the wait. I mean, it was like
yes, it makes that noise. It's that when you turn it on.
It was like when I got my American payphone. It was the guy was really good, but he was in the middle of the States where he got it from. And
you know when you
go on.
You know when you ring it, does it do them bell noises? You know.
Oh yeah, it's got the. No, I've got 2
weird.
American phones, and the thing is, my mum came round. I said, "Oh, it's the American," because I already got one, and she said, "It doesn't sound. It just sounds like the British one." I said, "No, it's not. It's got every American TV film from the 80s, 70s has that distinctive bell sound. You know, it's the 2 pulses." But she just couldn't hear it, and of course, as you say, when you hear an American bell, those bells sound, it's very distinctive of America. Even though it's not the long ring, it's the bring, because of course we've got the different thing. I love them. So, but going back to my thing, it took a long time for them to come. It wasn't their fault, it was right, but during the first wave.
I saw the picture, it looked very nice as well.
Oh, it's lovely. I've got a splitter, so it's in the kitchen, and it's really, I love it. And every time I see an American payphone now, you see, the thing is, you see those things so often, those classic American films, they're on TV shows. You see one practically every episode of like TJ Hooker or Miami Vice or even like Quantum Leap in the episodes in the 80s and stuff like that. So yeah, you know me, I'm a big American fan.
When I was doing an editing course about a year ago, I had to go off to give you projects to do, and I went off down to Brighton and Eastbourne, and I made a documentary it's a comedy one about British phone boxes.
Oh yeah, I would like that.
It's only I could send it. It's nothing.
Yeah. No, I'm actually quite. I think because of the Doctor Who police boxes, I've always had an affinity with either the American payphones or the British red phone boxes. So yeah, yes. I love all that. I'm a big fan.
Well, I went round. I did a tour of the phone boxes in Eastbourne.
Oh, okay, all right.
They were disgusting, absolutely filthy, disgusting.
Yeah, of course I do.
And then I went into Brighton, they were just disgusting.
Yeah.
And then I did round where I lived on the phone boxes, and it was interesting because we got through like the ones with the cards in.
The special cards. Yeah.
Actually, they were quite cleaned up round where I lived. I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
So there were sort of nice. Then there were these then we got onto these modern phone boxes, and then we found out the 21st century phone boxes now, which drug dealers are using. It's like a tower.
Oh.
With a video screen. And you can plug your mobile in. You can make free phone calls and go on the internet. And they're all over around where I live. But apparently, people that
so you could surf porn in the street then. Oh God, I've not used one of those.
Have you not seen them? Have you not?
I don't know. I know all we've got down here is bloody football. So I don't think they've got anything apart from unless it's a round spherical object and you wear the blue costumes. That's all you've got. Sorry, you know I'm not a big fan of Portsmouth.
Right,
but no, we have got some classic phone boxes though. I've seen about.
But have you not got the new video where you can make free phone calls on them and go on the internet?
I've not seen
a big television screen.
I've not seen that. I mean, I've not looked for it. I'll look for it now. But I've not been aware of it. I've seen some of the new more telephone kiosks, but not the same.
The place got funny about it.
Are they actually physically in box? Are they actually boxes that you go inside, or are they like stands?
No, it's just like a stand.
Yeah. I've seen things.
I mean, I wouldn't use them. I mean,
no.
Everybody hearing your conversation, you say out little chavs and that, they're all sat there plugging their mobiles in and charging them up. But apparently you can make free phone calls now. I've never used them, but I did phone one and I did investigate it.
But I
prefer the phone box.
I think it's a shame that most phone boxes are gone now. I memean, it's like the America. The obviously the phone box I've got, the pay machine. What do you call it? It's not a box. The actual mechanism, which I've got, you get those mostly now in airports in the States and stuff like that. And people obviously don't have them so much now. But like I said, it's just one of those things that are very iconic.
When I was in Wales, in middle of nowhere, the phone boxes were pristine.
And in Ireland, they're green apparently, which is quite interesting. Yeah, I think they've got green. Well, yeah,
apparently by law you've got to have phone box in your area.
Yeah, there is a certain requirement because the thing is though, because batteries last so much better on phones now. I think that's partly why. But you should, I do think now. So what if someone stole my phone? What if my phone died or something? Where can I contact anybody? There is a legal requirement for a number of phone boxes in a certain area, but it is kept to a minimum.
And you go in a British phone box, it stinks. And you lift up the phone and it's not connected to the
exactly. Or it was all scratched up with graffiti. No, it's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Very much.
But I'm glad that my one's refurbished and it's a lovely thing. So it certainly works well in the kitchen. Right, shall we go on to the solo one sci-fi news stories of the week?
Yeah, I've got quite a bit actually.
Yeah, me too. So have I. Okay, let's go in the jingle. Let's go for it.
Working.
Solo sci-fi
News.
All right, I'll quickly lead off with mine, and you're probably aware of it as well. But apparently Noah Hawley's Star Trek movie, it's just been announced that it's been put on hold for the moment. But apparently, the guy that's this Noah Hawley looks just like Simon Pegg. He really is a dead ringer for Simon Pegg. He looks like Scotty, and he says that if and when the new film comes out, it's going to feature a new crew of characters. It's not going to be a Captain Kirk. It's not going to be a Captain Picard. It's going to be a new starship with a new set of characters, which it's certainly interesting.
Well, there's a bit of an extension to that because I wonder if there is a connection. Will Smith could be getting signed up to a Star Trek movie.
I like Will Smith. I like Will Smith.
I do.
I don't know whether
that one's in. Are they is it with this guy and then suddenly Will Smith?
I could see it happening.
Deep Space Nine remake movie series.
Oh, I don't think they'd go back to Deep Space Nine. I don't know.
It could be set in the Kelvin verse, couldn't it? DS9. Self-speculation.
Yeah, I think it would be on a starship. I think that a lot of thing is we both know how good DS9 is, but from the outside, a lot of people say, well, it's not on a starship. It's set in a static place, and and a lot of people, it's like the guy that runs the Nightmare Man. He said, because I put on the link to the Voyager the other week, and he said he couldn't stand Deep Space Nine. He said he hated Quark, he hated the Ferengi, he didn't. And I thought to myself, and I said, I said, you just get the Dominion. I can't explain it. It's just so good. It's just such a good series.
It's the champagne.
It is, but I don't know. Like I said, some people just don't. You can't make someone like something, even though you like Star Trek. But you and I think a lot of fans can see how good it is. So he liked Voyager. I like Voyager too. But I like DS9 and Voyager both similarly. They're different, but they're set during the same time and they're linked together, and I just love them both. So there we go. What else have you got for me?
Development for new Stargate TV series. The SG-1 universe canon is progressing.
Yeah, I heard this. Apparently, the guy said that they're up to, if it takes 7 chevrons to lock to make the Stargate open, he's sort of like doing an analogy of getting this series to start or open. He's at chevron 5. He's only got 2 more chevrons to go, and then apparently if they get that, then the new series will probably go ahead. Do you think that will happen?
Yes, I think it's coming.
It's got to. There's such a huge fan base.
You'll have to pay for it.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
It won't be going on normal telly, but it'll either Netflix will get it, or Amazon, or it'll go on the MGM streaming site. But
so as MGM, I was going to say MGM, they haven't got a streaming site.
They have, yeah. They brought out the the Stargate website where you paid for episodes, but it never took off. They were like, you paid the charge every month.
Because CBS
People just walked away from it.
Because talking of streaming sites, CBS has now changed to Paramount Plus. It starts
Yes, it has, yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. It's certainly the CBS aspect is disappearing now. It's becoming Paramount Plus in January.
I think that there'll be some deal made. I think they'll get streaming companies to pay for it. Netflix or somebody like that will get hold of it. They'll share it with MGM. It'll go out on their network.
Yeah.
But you'll have to pay for it.
They've got to go for it. They'll make money. They'll make the money back. I mean, it's a huge series, and it went so far, and we're all just waiting for it to happen, basically. So fingers crossed. We'll certainly keep you advised about that if and when that happens. I think it's going to happen. I've been thinking that we've even been talking over the last year about this. Like, how come Stargate's not back?
It's coming. You can feel it.
I can feel it as well. I can definitely feel it. Other news, I saw a brand new yesterday released from the time of recording the Mandalorian season 2 trailer.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I was so in my element watching that last night. I watched it 5 to 6 times.
I watched it about 3 or 4 times.
I put it up on my YouTube channel.
Oh, did you? I've not seen that yet. Oh, brilliant. Okay, cool.
Loaded up the trailer.
Excellent, brilliant. So plenty of interesting things. There was some X-Wings, which I thought was quite cool. We saw some more TIE fighters and some more Empire stuff. We didn't see Grand Moff Gideon, did we? But I'm sure he's going to be back.
But we did see the speeder bikes.
We did. And I got the impression it really was. It wasn't. It was just like a sort of sneak peek. They didn't give much information away at all, which is fine.
And little cute Yoda when it
shuts the door up because there's going to be the those weird little missile things.
Did you do it? I bet you went, oh.
But did you notice?
I did.
Did you? If you watch the clip, there's a clip where you see, I think they're called banthas on Tatooine. Yes. If you look at it, the way that the mouth opens, and everyone's saying this, it looks like when the guy's narrating or the talk, it looks like the banthas talking. It's really, if you watch it, really? And everyone laughs. It's like, are you sure it wasn't the bantha that just said that? It was really funny. But yeah, it looks good. I'm very, very stoked for this. And we have just been talking about the fact that we want to do some live streams on your channel when both Discovery and The Mandalorian Season 2 come out. Because these, to me, are the big highlights of the year, these two. And I'm really excited about it. And it's actually getting very exciting now because the thing is, we'd be so far ahead now if it wasn't for this COVID. We would now have Picard Season 2 probably in mid-production, probably quite a long way through by now.
Definitely.
The Orville would have been finished for Season 3. And Strange New Worlds probably be. I mean, apparently Strange New Worlds is still due to start filming in the next month or 2. I think they said.
I've never seen it. Have you seen it?
Seen what?
I'm thinking Stranger Things.
Stranger. I have seen Stranger Things. The first season is good. It was good.
I keep reading about Strange New Worlds that it keeps popping up these news articles. Oh, it's all failing, and that
I don't
Strange
believe
New
that's all
Worlds
crap.
might get cancelled.
No, I don't believe
again.
that. No.
And
They've got Anson Mount. They've got Ethan. No, that's the most confident I've seen in new Trek since CBS took over. I'm very confident about it. You and I both are. So
it's the defining one. This is going to be the series.
We've already seen what they can do. They're going to make standalone stories with a loose art, which is that's my perfect enjoyment of sci-fi. We've already seen them in action in Discovery. So you've already 3/4 there. So
and Anson Mount plays Pike. He's he is.
I saw him last year. He was so good.
The captains, don't they? And he's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they're going this way because he made Discovery Season 2 so good and so much better than the first season. So bring it on.
I've got something very interesting. I don't know what you're going to think about this.
What's that?
I'm still trying to get my head around it.
Okay.
Do you like RoboCop?
The original, I quite like them.
The original.
I wasn't like a super fan, but I've seen them all. The first one is very good. The second one was okay. Kurtwood Smith's in it as the antagonist.
Well,
he was good.
They're making a TV series set before RoboCop. It's going to be set at OCP, and it's about Dick Jones. The villain in RoboCop, Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox, of course, was Edward Jellicoe.
It's a younger version of him getting his way up the killing and murdering people to get up to where he gets up to at OCP.
So is it going to be like a reboot, or will it sort of like fit an established canon kind of thing? I mean, obviously it's a prequel.
Robo franchise cannot be stopped. Dick Jones' character has now appeared from most seasons. Hang on. Neil Blomkamp is no longer attached to the thing. I'm looking for it now. A RoboCop's TV series minus RoboCop, certainly a unique approach, but there may be some potential there for a fun show.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's still very early days, and it's not officially happening yet, but it's in the stages. Would be pretty cool if that planned sequel tied together to create a shared universe of sorts.
Sounds good. Yeah, bring it on. I'll certainly try that.
Definitely. I find it quite fascinating, the world of OCP and New Dick.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an alternate sort of like timeline thing, especially if it's like, it would be set, I'd assume, in the 80s, alternate 80s or something. If it was,
I suppose so. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll bring it on. Yeah, I mean, like I said, all this stuff. It's actually, we've got a lot to look forward to. So, I really want to see that. I still want you to see Russian Doll, the Groundhog Day series. That's
it's on
very
the
good.
List. I've got a list of
Check
4
it out.
miles long.
Yeah, brilliant. So I think you'll like that because it's.
I'm hoping to watch The Mist on Sunday. Actually.
Oh, I hope you can, because then we can review that. That would be brilliant. If you don't mind, and like I said, I'll try one of your other shows at some point as well. But I did do Star Maiden, so it's a good thing. But you didn't recommend. How did I watch Star Crash?
Well, I've started. Well, I'm going to do. Could have been a classic on Star.
I saw your could have been a classic on Star Maidens. That was very good.
Yes, thank you for the nice compliment.
No, it's a very good. I mean, I like your reviews.
A bit wary about doing that because I didn't want to get into bra burning and feminism and that, I didn't want to get You're
just talking about a show based on its time. You're not saying...
That's what
it
is of its time. I didn't want... Because some people,
This is the worrying thing about history, because the fact is that even though it's a TV show, it was like an historical event in science fiction. But what's worrying, and this is like... We're not going to go into this because we don't do this, but it's the fact that you get scared of saying certain things because of fallout. And it's, you're talking about a series from the mid-70s, which is almost like a different world compared to 2020. And it had different, and it was just you talking about the series and the attitudes, and that's what it's about. And in the end, it was a pro-feminist show. So that's nothing wrong with that.
That's that way.
So without sort of like dwindling on it, I think you did a very good job, and I
thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that.
No, it's no problem at all. So what else have we got for me? Anything else?
I've got 2 lots. Three. They're doing season 3 of Doom Patrol, which I do recommend you should watch. It's so weird, it'll do your head in.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
It's trust me. Just download the first season. You won't be able to turn it off.
Okay.
Russell Crowe, apparently, and I've got something quite exciting after this as well.
Go on.
You've probably seen it, but Russell Crowe as Russell Crowe claimed UFO sighting and has video of a UFO.
What? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Russell Crowe, Academy Award-winning actor, starring films like Gladiator and all other stuff.
Yeah.
Claims to have seen a UFO and also has the footage to prove it.
Wow. Okay. So is he releasing it, or is it an ongoing story, or what?
Not saying.
Did you see? Did you see?
I
don't know. But did you see the other thing about apparently a possibility of some chemical on Venus which might have been artificially created?
Destroyed me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wonder if that was your big thing.
You had to come out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go on. You've got more information. You tell me what you've heard.
No, you've killed it now. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm going to be at the same time.
I saw it. I was very apprehensive at first about this. I saw it on Facebook in one of them. I thought
it was on the news. It was on the BBC News again.
And then it got on the news. And I saw a clip of it on YouTube on Sky News, and I thought, right. And then of course they've all been out now saying there's gas creatures that live in the atmosphere, and this element shouldn't exist, and something weird going on. But it's connected.
It's exciting.
To life.
It's exciting.
If it's microbial life, then how is it staying in the atmosphere? And they're saying it's coming up. I mean, it's all speculation, but the fact is, this stuff is there.
But can they Can they land probes on Venus? Because Venus,
the Russians did, yeah.
Because Venus isn't a gas; it is a solid planet. It's not like a gas giant.
Well, I think Venus is like Earth's twin or something.
But I mean, how come? I mean, there's plenty of imagery of like Mars and Martian surface images, but I can't ever remember seeing.
Mars is smaller than Venus.
But I mean, what does Mars look like? Hasn't it got a very high density or something? It's got high pressure.
It's got a very weak atmosphere, but Venus is like walking on the surface is.
But
like
it's so hot, isn't it? Because it's
being in the ocean, the pressure. But if you go up into the atmosphere, it's very. Apparently you could live there in the atmosphere.
Oh wow! Okay,
it's what they're saying. But the Russians did send a probe, and what happened was the probe lasted an hour before it melted.
Yeah. So
pictures.
So it sounds like it's a bit of an oddity. So it could well be that you don't
there's
know.
something there that's not making sense. Well,
that's exciting. I mean, the thing is, if that's piqued people's curiosity, then they're bound to find.
It could be like there could be like gas creatures, and what it farts this stuff. Just farts it.
So they have they're like a Venetian Vindaloo or something kind of.
Yeah.
And
And that's what they've detected. They saw this reaction in the atmosphere, but really it's a fart.
Yeah,
but we're not
maybe
getting excited about it.
Or maybe they heard about COVID-19 and just thought, I'm not going there. I don't know. Anyway, that's certainly interesting. I hope that will get some more information about that, because it's always exciting to think about other life in our solar system. See, as there's so much life on Earth, that it does make you wonder, as obviously they're the only planets that we can go to at the moment. And so, we'll have to see. Right, go on. Anything else?
One more thing. Doctor Who Dalek animated series.
Yes, I saw this. You sent this to me about 10 minutes before we started recording.
Yes,
so,
I don't know. I only watched a couple of minutes, but it's happening. Nicholas Briggs is behind.
He's back as a voice. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's been inspired by things like Star Trek Lower Decks and things like that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that's
the money-making machine.
Well, it's. I mean, the thing is, it never. Star Trek's technically had 2 animated series now. Doctor Who has never had one. I mean, even Stargate had Stargate Infinity. I've never seen it, but that's an animated Stargate series. I didn't like the look of it. I didn't try it, but I know of it. I've not tried it.
It is bad, trust me.
Okay, but so it sounds like it'd be a series set away from the Doctor on I don't know, on a Dalek planet or something. So I don't know much about it, but I hope they do it. And of course, they're doing a lot of classic Who animations for the DVD releases and stuff like that, and Blu-rays. So they've got the way of doing it, and I think animation's easier for them to do now. So let's go for it. I hope they do.
It's just say Dalek Society though. You know about the Doctor. I mean, actually, what's it like being a normal 9 to 5 Dalek? You know, like a working Dalek or what?
Yeah, like, do they sleep, and how do they ingest nutrients, and do they ever have
it's the lady Daleks as well. I mean,
but how do they reproduce? I mean,
at the maid or something. I thought.
Are they asexual or?
In Genesis, they had a machine that made them, didn't they? I think.
I can't remember. I don't remember that.
I don't know. But there could be Lady Daleks.
I mean, obviously they're Khalids, aren't they? Because there was a nuclear war, and they were like the radioactive kind of survivors. But it's never been established whether Daleks are simply the survivors, and maybe they've got a very long lifespan, or whether they reproduce. And obviously, I don't know. It's curious. They should do that.
There could be Lady Daleks.
They could. They should actually do it. They should focus on that. They should do reproduction of the Daleks.
I said
cool title.
Reproduction of
Mind you, but it sounds like a Triple X kind of like they're going along sort of like with Dalek dildos or something. No, actually, let's not go there.
That's all just stuff. I've got a picture of a Dalek with a dildo.
No, exactly. Instead of the plunger, No, let's not go there. No. Exterminate. Bloody hell. All right. So anyway, that won't end up on the animated series. I don't think that's something. But
no,
might be giving somebody out there some sort of inspired idea.
I said to a friend, wouldn't it be great? I remember, I like the concept of Rusty the Dalek.
Oh, that was the one that they went into, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'd like to see a Dalek where a Doctor turns up on a planet. There's a Dalek working behind a bar. He's had enough. He's just buggered off from the rest of them. It's got feelings. It's got a job in a bar. It's right friendly, but it's got the Dalek voice. and it sort of laughs like.
Well, aren't they
That was so cool.
aren't they configured so that they're sort of independent, a bit like the Borg are taken away? They're
Something happened to this woman. One
Yeah,
day it
yeah,
just took
yeah.
off in its spaceship. It got a job in a bar, and everybody gets on with it. It's got a sense of humour, and it's got a name like Bob or something. And
Bob.
the Doctor comes across it, and I don't know, he might even travel with him for a while.
Yeah, Tom the Dalek.
But it's got a sense of humour.
Yeah, they had
handles.
Cybermen. They had handles. You remember the handles of
I
Cybermen
like
had?
handles.
So they have done that with Cybermen, but they're not done it with Doctor Who, or Daleks rather. But yeah, I'm up for it. I mean, I like comedy in sci-fi. If it's done right. If it's weird with comedy because it's it's based on the individual. But yeah, I mean, I'm up for it. I mean, but like I said, we had that. I think it was the Asylum of the Daleks where we saw them all. They were in this. They're all sort of deactivated, and then some were coming alive, and they were. We have seen one or two instances of Daleks being a bit more individualistic, but as you say, most of them are bulk standard, exterminate, and that's what they're about. So, like I said, we've already talked about some potential ideas in the
Got a bit
future.
more to them.
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah. No. I mean, they've done that for 40, 55 years, whatever it is. So, yeah. All right. Yep, that's it from me. Plenty of stuff there. I don't think I've got anything else on my end. And
No, that's the news. That's
brilliant.
it. The news is covered.
It is, and there's quite a lot there. So it's quite exciting times. And like I said, with the new series starting next month, which won't be far away. And just to say that Lower Decks is still very good. We only got four more episodes before season 1 is done. And I still continue to think of it as it's an enjoyable experience. It's not the biggest thing because I'm not a big animated fan, but it's a bit of a fun addition to the Star Trek family, and I think that what they've done with it is great. So I hope that they make a season 2. Right, I think we should go into our focus of the week. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi focus
of the week.
All right, so this week, a series which was made by Douglas Adams as a radio series, I think in the late 70s. And he made a number of tapes or stories of this. And that was, of course, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And, of course, Douglas Adams, going back to the Daleks, he's the one that created the Daleks, isn't he? I think he was, isn't he? Was it Douglas Adams? Yeah, he was, wasn't it? So
no, he didn't create the Daleks. He did write some Doctor Who stories. Though.
I thought, who did the? Yeah, you're right. Sorry, as I said that, I realised that. Sorry.
He did write some Doctor Who.
He wrote some, but it wasn't that. Yeah, but anyway, going back to Hitchhikers. So this was certainly an interesting series, which got a TV adaptation of, actually in the first book. Have you read The Hitchhikers, the entire series?
Yeah, I've read the 4 books. Apparently, there's the 5th book that's quite depressing.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I've only ever seen the TV.
A friend of mine told me what happened at the end of it. God puts the universe in a suitcase or something like that. It's crazy.
Well, he always was a bit sort of out there, Hitchhikers. But what do you think of?
Yeah, but it's genius.
Yeah. It's a very cult. It's very. But I mean, I remember seeing this probably. I was 9 when it came out, so 9 or 10. So, and I saw it at a young age. I remember. I remember. I think it was before I had my very first VHS tape. I had a cassette tape, and I actually recorded the episodes audio off the telly just to listen to it being played back. And I remember being at my nan's house and playing it again and again and again because I was that into it. Even though I was blown away with the first episode with the Vogon constructor fleet blowing up Earth and all the weird things that happen. And it really is. It's a real cult series. It's one of the best British cult series I can ever remember.
I saw it advertised, and my dad he was a big fan of Radio 4.
All right.
And he used to listen to a lot of plays on BBC Radio. He was into radio stuff,
Yeah.
And he was right excited about it. And I saw trailer for it, and I thought, what's that? Because it was spaceships and aliens. I didn't, I was young myself, and it came on. I remember the night we were on a Monday night on BBC 2 at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
and I was just blown away by it. I mean, I was still trying to get my head around. I was a kid, and I thought, this is just crazy. Is this?
Yeah,
and how it opened up with him, Arthur Dent, who's got the boring life, and. and rest. It just touches on that normality at the beginning, you know.
Yes, it does.
And like you said, Portsmouth Council outside his house.
It wasn't Portsmouth, was it? I don't know which one it was now.
I'm just using
No,
that
but
as
yeah,
an
it's a sort of
analogy.
council, a council sort of analogy.
Yeah, the council and all that bureaucracy. But then there's something comes along that's bigger in bureaucracy and bulldozes that out of the way, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because the book describes them as 3 yellow brick-like things or something.
Yes.
And it said how, like Houston and all these places, which are always looking for extraterrestrial life, just look straight through them. And so it started off, and then we had 4 prefects who met Arthur Dent, and he's lying outside by his house in front of a tractor, trying to stop them from bulldozing, and it just goes off from there. And it goes in a lot of interesting places when it comes to whales being created from missiles and deep thought, 42, the life to answer the answer to the life of the universe and everything. Marvin, the paranoid android. It was a wild ride. Were you very satisfied with the way it was actually the whole series? It was done well.
The thing is with Hitchhikers, it's genius. I mean, if you underline the humour, there's something very intelligent going on.
Absolutely, it is.
And it is genius. I mean, like using mice as the maintenance workers. We find them a pest, but they're not. They're all running the machines in the background and you know, for this great idea.
Because in the series it says that Earth is the 3rd most intelligent species on the planet. We are the 3rd. I think the 2nd they said that there were dolphins who knew of the Vogons, and they sort of they said that when they were in like swimming pools and spinning around and sort of like hitting beach balls, it was actually them trying to communicate with us and things like that. It was really quite bizarre the way it explained how the world was literally it was a major computer. That was the whole point
But there was one scene in that. It was beautiful. That just as the Earth got destroyed in one of the episodes, there was a woman who sat in a cafe. She's in a cafe having a cup of tea.
She says,
and she got the answer.
The whole thing had to solve the whole world, and she was just about to sort of ring somebody, and then of course you see that the whole world starting to sort of brighten up.
So the experiment did work.
Yes, and so are you saying she was the one that got the answer through the supercomputer of the Earth?
Well,
it could be.
I suppose so. Yeah, we were all we're all about life and evolution.
But she, if I remember correctly, it wasn't her discovering the answer to life, the universe, and everything. She was just discovering a way to solve humanity's problems, and so that we could all get on, and we could all the world would be a better. Right. It could have been. I don't know. She was right near the end of when the actual answer was supposed to, because it was like 10 minutes later. The answer would have been found or something when the Earth was destroyed by the Vogons.
Yeah, but it's just that moment where you get the big answer, and just as you're about to
get it,
boom, you're gone.
That's it. Yeah, it was, and it had so many bizarre things. I mean, like the 2nd episode, you see a guy and he walks into the sea and he just throws all his money away because he just thinks, what's the point? Some very strange scenes in this series, and
very representative of life, though.
And what do you think of the infinite improbability drive? That was quite a funny one, wasn't it?
Oh, God, that was insane. What did they call him with two ends?
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
I know it so well. It's one thing where I don't have to think too much, because I must have seen the series.
The thing where they met, Trillian.
At the party. They met at the party.
At the party, yeah.
That's it. Is this guy boring you?
Yeah.
He was called Phil, apparently, in that point, and he had the one head, of course. And of course, Arthur had met him, and of course, Zaphod said, "Is this guy boring you?" And then Trillian went off with Phil, as he was called on Earth when he was visiting. There were so many funny scenes. Of course, you've got to mention Marvin, the paranoid android, as well. He was brilliant. I love Marvin. He was great. At the end of this podcast, we're going to feature a Marvin song, by the way, voiced by the actor who played Marvin, which would be quite fun as well.
Right. I look forward to that.
I'm sure you will. But it just went so far. And what did you think of? Because Slarty Bartfast we met as well. He was the person who.
Oh, Slarty Bartfast.
He did the coastlines of Norway, I think it was, and he did the lovely little fjords and stuff. And of course they were trying to build a new Earth, after the first one was destroyed. And of course, Arthur, they wanted to use Arthur because he was there right at the end of the Earth's destructions, where he might have some of the answers to life, the universe,
I think
and everything.
I think it was inside his head. I think every human being had it. It was just
but
came out with it first, I think.
That's it. But I mean, and of course, before that, they had a huge supercomputer which took 3 million years, I think it was, for it to work out the answer. And of course, the answer was to life, the universe, and everything was 42. And of course, the whole point of it is it wasn't the answer that they were looking for; it's the question. I love it. It was so funny. Some of these weird things it went in such a weird way.
It's sheer genius. I mean, how he put
brilliant.
that together?
I don't know. And Peter Davidson, the Fifth Doctor, appeared as the meal of the day. He was like a stuffed pig with an apple in his mouth. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He was
talking away.
And he was, of course, eventually he was getting together with the actress who played Trillian, and I can't remember her name. The blonde. They were in it together as well.
Restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yeah. Restaurant at the end of the universe. Macrothea as well. I loved it. I just thought it was such a good series. And of course, do you wish it had been on a bit longer? It was only 6 episodes.
Well, my mate, I read up to. I had a big omnipedia of it, and I read it years ago. And it went up to Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Now, my mate, he told me that there was another book.
Yeah, you mentioned that, yeah.
It's really depressing. I've never read that, but he's read it. But he said God's in it or something. He just packs up the universe at the end, puts it in a suitcase or something.
Right.
Because he's sat in a hut depressed. It's something, I remember him telling me when I was at a party. I was pretty hammered at the time, years ago.
Right.
But he did go on about it, because I said there isn't another. He said there is. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
It's what he told me. And then, yeah. So I don't know. I would have liked to have seen it gone further.
Yeah.
The thing I loved about it as well was that after, when they got on that Rockstar spaceship, they went crashing into that.
Oh, yes, yeah. What are they called? Oh God, I can't remember what they're called now. Wild something, not Wild. No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, they could destroy planets with the speakers or something.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
When they got away from that, they ended up on Earth, they ended up on a spaceship.
Yes,
with
where
all the most pointless people.
Hairdressers. Yeah, hairdressers.
Sorry, I'm not having got anybody's.
Oh, we're not. It's not us. It's
middle management.
Van drivers. I would have ended up on
management.
that. I would have ended up on that with me being a van driver. I probably would have been doing that. I would have ended up on the ship where they want to get rid of all the people not the thinkers.
And telephone cleaners. But the beauty of it, the intelligent people got rid of the people they didn't want.
Yeah, but they all got killed off.
They all died off.
Yeah, they all got killed off. So in the end,
you need them people to do the other stuff, not to keep the balance. And
that's right.
It's so intelligent.
I love it.
Genius.
I love it. It's so good, and the comedy was so good in it as well. And it just, it is so strange. Actually, I mean, it's nice reviewing it here because, of course, like I said, I've probably not talked to a lot of people about how they thought about it, but it is a real cult classic. It's such a good adaptation.
Oh yeah, I might dig it out.
I might. So I was thinking about doing that. I mean, they don't take long to go through them, and it's just such a fun series to watch.
But there's one scene's coming to my head right now.
Go on.
You know when they crash on Earth, don't you?
Yeah.
In the past, and you've got all them in society you don't want. I mean, he sat in the bath and set up a council.
he's been in the bath for 3 years.
And in the corner, there's a caveman who's doing some kind of like chess or tic-tac-toe, and that's part of the original.
He's part of the program, and he actually comes off with the answer in his chessboard. What's 7 times 3 or whatever it is to make 42 or whatever it is. He made some,
and he turns out the experiment.
The hairdressers, because of that, Gold. I remember they were from Golga Frincham, I think they were called. I suddenly remember the name of it.
Security guard.
They messed up the program. That's what caused it all to go wrong. Apparently, that's brilliant. I loved it. It was so funny.
Genius.
I mean, do you think they should have extended it, and made a second season on the BBC version?
If there is another, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if if it went on further, definitely. I think that each episode obviously is not accurate to the book because they've had to.
That's right. They've adapted it.
Shorten it down.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
So I'd like to see I don't know. The BBC one is beautiful. It is what it is.
It is. It's brilliant. I mean, you can't. They made such a good adaptation. I've got no fault with it.
That's what I mean. And then there was the Walt Disney one that came.
Well, I
out,
wanted to sort of.
I didn't mind it, to be
yeah,
honest.
I want to touch upon that. I mean, there was a nice cameo. I think the actor who played Arthur Dent was he was in it as the voice of the book.
Yes.
And we do see the original Marvin in the scene as well, in the background.
Yeah, but why did they have to go alter it with other Marvin?
I didn't like the other Marvin.
No,
I didn't. I mean, I like Martin Freeman, but he wasn't anything like the original Arthur Dent. It was all right.
Was the film accurate to the book? So
well, I don't know because you've read more of the book than I have, so you might know.
20 odd years ago, when I read that.
So I can't answer that either because I'm basically most of my knowledge is from the TV version, which of course is an adaptation in itself.
That's where I picture everything is from the BBC.
So I can't answer that really, which is a shame. I should, but the TV version was just so good. But I didn't mind the film version, but I definitely considered it a subpar compared to the 81 BBC version.
I mean, the budget they spent on that film was mind blowing. I mean, the special effects.
But it was something was lacking.
Yeah, it was.
Something just wasn't
amazing.
There. I don't know what it was.
That proves the point that you can spend billions on something, and yet again, a cheap BBC series made in 81.
Yeah. Oh no.
Outclasses it on every level.
Absolutely.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a strange one. I mean, like I said, I don't know why the BBC One, they got it so right. I don't know if it's partly just the time it was made or it was just the way it was done. I don't know, or just that it had to get the really good cast of actors involved. I think also, it's that kind of that era where I love that era of BBC. I mean, that was when we had the Day of the Triffids. That's when we had the sort of late Tom Baker, early Peter Davidson years of Doctor Who. That's my era of science fiction on BBC is probably the 80s era.
I've actually I'll send it to you after this. Barry Letts and his partner were doing Doctor Who when Pertwee was doing it in the summer when they broke up from filming. When the series was done, they created another series called Moonbase 3, and all the Doctor Who music's in the background in that.
Oh, okay.
Got cancelled after 6 episodes, 1972. And it's all full of British cast and people, and is it Delia Derbyshire's music?
Derbyshire, yeah.
All
okay.
that's in
brilliant.
it. I'll send you. It's all on you. It's only 6 episodes. It is.
There's one series
I made it too realistic. I can send you it first.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's one series I want to check with you. You must have seen it, but I don't know if it's available on YouTube. Do you remember Star Cops?
Oh God, we've got to cover. It's one of my all-time favourites.
I remember. I've not seen that for since the 80s, but I'd like to. Oh right, okay. If that's the case, I'll get a copy of it and I'll watch the copy of that because that's
in the next couple of minutes.
Star Cops, yeah. But let's finish off with the Hitchhikers. I thought it was a very, very good series. It's one of my real favourites. And I always associate it with the 81 had Day of the Triffids and this one, and I love both that particular year.
Yeah, they are. They're very defining of
early 80s science fiction and British television, and I really, really can't watch it enough. Trekker Price, who's going to be on next week, he said he's going to try and see a copy of it because he's not seen it yet, and he's got to watch that as well if he likes science fiction because he's really missing out. So, but yeah, thank you, Martin. I'm really like that. I'm really glad that you definitely sort of are on board with liking it as much as I have. Do you ever think it will have a remake of some sort, like a BBC remake or what?
I read a while back they were on about remaking it.
What do you think? I mean, we've seen Day of the Triffids remake, poor. We saw War of the Worlds remake, shite. We saw Survivors remake, which actually I didn't mind, but I don't know.
Yeah, but then they remade quite a mess, and that was shit.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's an American production that's doing it. What I read, this one not that long ago, though. Apparently,
but the thing is, the BBC now are not the BBC of the 80s. The BBC in the 80s was something which I consider a lot better than they are now. And like I said, the majority of just about everything that they make now is just utter shite, unfortunately. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's best just to remember the 81 version as the definitive version of Hitchhikers. So we'll have to see. All right, Martin, well, thank you for that. I think that was really good analysis of that, and I'm really glad that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Shall we go on to our cancelled name? Are you ready for that?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Cancelled?
I
Nay.
can hear loads of static.
It's here to stay. All right, now we don't think we reviewed this one. We have talked about potential future aspects of this series, but I think it's worth a talk again. I don't think we have. We are talking about the TV version of The Planet of the Apes. Is it the TV version or is it the film version we're talking about as a continuation?
TV
must be the TV version, mustn't it? Yeah.
What if there'd been a season 2?
And I think what I'm thinking is we did do Predator versus, and I think we
Yes, we did.
and that's maybe what I'm thinking of, which is why I was slightly hesitant. So how did the series actually end? Remind me, what was the last thing? Thanks for your attachment, just got it. What was the last aspect of the last episode of The Planet of the
I
Apes?
don't know. Well, it just finished where, like, you know, they turned up somewhere, got involved in a situation, and
It was very standalone, wasn't it? It didn't sort of finish with a
and then
cliffhanger.
Urko would, like, they get away from Urko, and then he'd pursue Chase, and they'd be like, they were always running all the time. They were always running up hills.
Yes.
You know? Every beginner, remember, they'd run into a new valley.
That's right, and there'd be like a new.
Can you imagine running like that all the time?
Well, they get fit.
Yeah, that's. You know, but there's a lot of running. They'd always like run into a village all the time.
Yes, they were doing a lot of running. I remember that. Yeah, that was a bit strange. That, and of course the humans were a bit thick on this. It wasn't like the. It's funny this. I always thought it's interesting that the original movies, the humans are so de-evolved that they were like cavemen who couldn't even communicate. This era were more like they weren't medieval. They were like I don't know what sort of era they would be put in, but they could clothe themselves, they could farm, and they could talk, and they had a language. But they were certainly a lesser form of human than the apes who were in charge.
Yeah, because the apes are keeping them down.
They were.
They weren't educated. I mean, they had the standard, like, lived in a hut, didn't they? And
But technically,
the farms.
I was going to say, technically, this was set. The TV series was set before the Charlton Heston original. So in that film, because it's further,
the TV series came after Charlton Heston.
No, I'm sure it didn't. No, it didn't.
No, it did. It came out when it's 70s TV series.
No, I don't mean in production. I mean in the era of where the astronauts ended up in the Planet of the Apes world.
Well, I don't know.
That's what I thought.
But then this. I mean, I bought a book. Somebody wrote a book to fill in the gaps in the movies, right?
Right.
And it was very good. My friend, I lent it to my friend. I had to wait for this guy. Wrote 2 books, and it explains how the apes. I'm just going to go on to films for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
But the apes, it explains how they got that ship operational and got it to fly. I know all the and this is canon. What I'm saying.
So you're talking about the third Planet of the Apes film where they went back in time?
Yeah. Well, the first ship crashed. The second ship crashed. Well, the first ship went underwater.
Yeah, the second ship crashed.
The second ship crashed. Now, do you remember Dr. Milo? Right, I'll just cut this quick. Do you remember Dr. Milo?
Was he the scientist that went back in time?
Yeah. Well, do you remember not Taylor? Do you remember the other human who took his brain out? Yeah,
the black guy.
No, the other one.
Oh, the other one, the one that had his that he had a part of his brain cut out. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Well,
so 3 of them as well.
Well, when they were doing it all to him, he were trapped. He were hidden somewhere else.
Right.
And Dr. Milo had been sent to go talk to him, and he started telling him about where he come from and all that, and he didn't believe him at first, but then he said something about that the ship is in this lake
in the Forbidden Zone.
He got Dr. Zayas to sign a document. He gave it to him, and he signed it. He didn't realise what he'd signed, and he took an expedition and a load of chimpanzees that went out there, and they found the ship. They brought the ship. It was trapped. The ship didn't fully sink. The currents had moved it onto an eddy under the water, and they got it up. They got it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I realised that they did that because obviously the second ship was destroyed.
Yeah,
so they had to get the first one out. That's the one we're back in time.
Now, when they're getting the first ship out, right? When there's a camp, they see a star crash in another valley. That's the second ship. So when Brent is burying the human, and he goes, and Nova turns up on the horse, there's 2 apes behind a ridge watching him.
Oh, right. Okay,
there's 2 chimpanzees, and what it is, the The ship is not operational because some parts are damaged, but the ship, everything's made to be able to fit easily and work. So what they do is strip the wreckage down of the second ship, and then there's a manual, and they start putting it together, and then they build a runway, and that's how it works.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like I say,
that's how they do it in the books. That's canon.
Okay.
Because everybody said how could because they technology like that was centuries ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, I always wondered how they got back in time from the. I mean, I realised it was the first ship that went underwater and they managed to get it out of the sea, out of the. But
second ship when they took
the second ship was.
They put them into it and they dried it out, and suddenly it all started working. It all just started working. Bits of it, and then they realised he read this manual, and there was a computer on board and pressing buttons and telling him stuff, and that's how they did it. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the TV series, that I thought was set way before.
Right, well,
that's what I thought. But you might be right.
No. What's interesting in the book, it's canon. When they're in training for ANSA, the space agency, that ANSA, he's in a classroom with Ferdinand Burke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then again, when Ferdinand Burke, when they first turn up on Planet of the Apes before, Ferdinand Burke's future is totally different to Taylor's future, because there's a book with pictures of structures in the 21st century, 23rd century.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, do we go into parallel timelines or alternative universe? I don't know. But they did the equivalent. Taylor did know Ferdinand Burke answer back in the past, but they might be from another timeline.
But then couldn't they have started off in the same place and created two different timelines in their own future?
In 1990 something, the world got nuked, didn't it? So, but when Ferdinand Burke are there, in that future, there was human life around, super advanced in the 21st century. Yeah, whatever that apocalypse was, whatever, because it never goes into it, that something happened a few hundred years after they left. Remember the episode of The Vault, where they find that computer vault of all human knowledge?
Yes.
There was stuff in there that was centuries beyond them. Something survived.
Now here we are. I'm just reading something. It says both Vernon and Burke go back into their ship and check the ship's chronometer. It says they are more than 1,000 years in the future from when they left Earth. Right, that's 1,000. So they left in about 1972. I think it was around about that time. So if they were set in 2972, but then in the movies they were like 39 something.
Yeah, they were.
So it tells me that this was about 1,000 years before the Charlton Heston, even if it's a different tangent timeline.
It's got to be a different timeline.
So it's a different timeline, but also much earlier.
Because the destruction of the human race in that timeline happened
25 years. Yeah, because it says here
after the Taylor timeline.
You're right, because it says here that happened in 2500.
Yeah.
In the TV version. Actually, no. But actually, it says the beginning. It says the series.
You're good. You're good. I like you.
No. But actually, it says here at the beginning. It says the series begins with the June 14th, 3085 crash of Earth's spaceship that encountered time while approaching City Alpha on August 19th, 1980. That doesn't make sense. That contradicts that, because that's not 1,000 years in the future. Well, this is Wikipedia. They just chuck in anything.
I've got a theory. I think when the Earth exploded in the future, and the photon drive going into warp speed, I think between both energy it opened
alternate
time, a multi-layered timeline. So things from all timelines were shooting in.
So it's a bit like on Star Trek, like the Kelvin universe where Vulcan gets destroyed, but in our universe, I can see that.
Simplifies it.
No, I mean, you can look into it. I love talking about this. I mean, that's one thing about you. We could talk about the most weird things.
I know. We need to get a life.
Oh, well. It's 2020. I mean, it's about as good as it goes.
I don't know. It's great. I've loved it.
Yeah, it's fun.
But so we're in back to the TV series. But I could have gone on about.
I know. Sorry. I'm just about it.
No, I enjoyed it. I really got starting to get into it. But
go on.
Yeah, right. So they solve the problem. I don't know. There's some apes are a bit thick as usual, but they amaze them with human intelligence, and Urko turns up in town or whatever, and they just they're running as you. They're running up the hill with a rucksack. because he had that disc. Now, I'm going to tell you something now. This is canon, right? Now, I need to see this, but it does exist. If you review Planet of the Apes, the TV series on Wikipedia, right, and I think I might have seen this as a kid, right, they get back to wherever they come from. That is established, right? And I'm going to tell you how now, right?
Go on.
Because when there were certain episodes got edited into afternoon movies.
Right.
You know, like over here, you know, like where like they edit certain episode and then put them on TV as like a movie.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, back in the 70s, it's just to sell it to TV companies. But what they did was they got Roddy McDowell to do an intro on each one at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And there's an old Galen sat in front of the fireplace with children, telling his kids about his adventures in the past.
Oh,
and he says,
so
he says Verdon and Bert found the computer and they got back.
Oh,
how they got back, where they
so that, in the end it's never been sort of like officially filmed, but they do well that, and of course then if they went back, then of course that could create the alternate timeline.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But it's only like a 1 minute intro, and it's on Wikipedia.
Oh,
it does it. I have been looking for that 1 minute footage.
Oh, that's like that would be
but
really
it does
good.
exist.
Maybe if it's been released on Blu-ray. I think we should still, not yet because we've only just talked about it, but we will still do another podcast just talking about Planet of the Apes, the actual TV series, as well as one of the films as well.
So they leave the village, running up the hill with the backpacks on, the same clothes they wear every week. It never gets washed.
Never gets dirty. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They're minging, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we won't go into that. It's not a washing machine, you know, because the clothes spick and span.
Yes.
And they go off. And anyway, after a week, there's about 2 weeks, they end up suddenly leaving all grass and jungle and forest, and they end up in the desert, and Galen starts getting scared.
Okay.
And they're going, what's wrong with you? It's the forbidden zone, none of us are allowed
Not
in.
allowed to go there, yeah.
I'll leave it to you, where do you take it from there?
Oh, what if they encountered the evolved, the bomb worshipping people of the Forbidden Planet? Yeah, the Underdweller, and they were less evolved at this point. Maybe
I like that.
And although the bomb was still important, maybe they weren't sort of like telepathic, and there was more infighting, and then they encounter Borden Burke, and again, it could be like some alternate thing where maybe there's more weapons which we've not seen. What if they have more futuristic weapons that perhaps I don't know. It could be I don't know.
I mean, I'd have it where you'd have like there's some kind of adventure with them for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, they get involved.
They're all screwed up in head and they solve the problem.
I like the idea of them making contact with the apes, say 1,000 years, if that's correct in what we're saying in this timeline, and how it's different from the Charlton Heston timeline from the original films. And they might have slightly different perspectives, whereas the bomb is not the holy bomb and the holy fallout, which was in the. I loved that in the second of it.
It's insane.
I loved it, and they were singing to it, and they're taking all their masks. Oh, I can't wait to review the Planet of the Apes films. Are we going to do review each film separately, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Yeah,
we are going to be doing a lot of podcasting if we're doing this.
We got thousands of podcasts.
But I mean, I'll finish off now because we're running out of recording time.
All right. So they leave there.
Yeah.
And they get to they end up somewhere else in Forbidden Zone where they find a society where humans and apes live together in peace.
Right. Oh, I would like that idea. What if there's a different sort of maybe the other side of the Forbidden Zone there is other apes.
Should we continue this for next week?
Yeah, let's continue it next week because, like I said, unfortunately, I've been talking a bit, and the time goes so quickly when I talk to you. It's amazing.
So part two.
So next week we'll leave with to be continued. Borden and Burke, they go past the Forbidden Zone. They make contact with these evolved humans who are radioactive humans, and they discover another tribe of apes who are very different and much more technologically advanced than the conventional.
They don't know about the other apes.
No, and that's what. And they've got to discover it. They've got to find out about it, and all right. We'll leave it there. That's brilliant, Martin. That's really good. Thank you for that. And that keeps us going with this particular segment because it's quite hard to find things to talk about now. All right. On that note, I think we will finish. That was a really good show. Thank you for that. I would think that because of what we've been doing. We've got to leave with Marvin. I don't know whether we played this. This was this LP single that was released about 1981. It's from 1981. Polydor released a double B-side vinyl album starring Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's very own paranoid android Marvin. It doesn't say the actor, but this one is called Marvin, I Love You. And we'll catch you next week.
Thank you very much.
On the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Thank you, Martin. We'll catch you later.
Long ago, in another galaxy, there lived a gloomy robot. His name was Marvin. He was getting old and a bit rusty, and nobody liked him. One day, being very bored, he thought it would be a good idea to tidy up all his old programs in his dusty old data bank. There were tapes in there he hadn't played for years. Checking them through, he accidentally pushed a wrong button, and suddenly he heard,
Marvin, I love you. Marvin, I love you.
well, he was sure he hadn't heard that ever before, but he wasn't even sure he'd heard it that time, because being a bored and gloomy robot, he hadn't really been listening. What was worse, he couldn't remember what button he'd accidentally pressed. Anyway, he tried a few switches at random, and suddenly,
Marvin, I love you. Marvin, I love you. Remember, I'm programmed for you. I know we're worlds apart. Still you could break my heart. Loving you is all I can do.
well, he heard it that time, all right, no doubt about it. Who was singing these strange words? Was it another robot or some strange life form from the distant past when he was a young robot and people still made the occasional attempt to like him? He couldn't make it out at all, so he pushed a few buttons again.
Marvin, I love you. Marvin, I love you.
That was it.
I tried to contact Marvin. I don't know why, but he never replied. Perhaps one day he'll answer. Till then, I guess I'll keep on trying. Marvin, I love you. Marvin, I love you. Remember, I'm programmed for you.
Does not compute, he thought miserably, but at least he knew where to find it in his data bank. From then on, he could play it whenever he wanted, think about what he'd missed, and live miserably ever after.